anticipated comic book movies coming out in the year of 2025? Well, let's be honest, it's comic book content, whether it's movies, shows, games, or whatever the case may be. Guys, I gotta tell you, I come into this recording and I want to share to you maybe a top 10, top 15, or even top 20. There's gotta be a top 20 somewhere. And then I thought, that's not what you want. You want the meat and potatoes. You want the things that you're looking forward to. You want the content that is of importance to you, to me, and to everywhere else. Because you spend your hard-earned money for it. That's what it's about at the end of the day, let's be honest here. A good friend of mine and a fellow voice actor would always ask me, Garcia, why do you do this to yourself? Why do you continue to put yourself out there in terms of liking and following content that has been terrible for the past few years? And I understand him and I hear him. And the best way for me to not really gaslight myself or to maybe justify what he says is the simple fact that this is my brand. This is what I love. This is what I do. This is what I crave on a weekly basis. I may not be as hardcore as other people, but this is my life. This is in my blood. Maybe not as hardcore as other people, but you get the gist. And I have to continue to tell him I have to accept everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. Accept the pros and the cons, the who's and the what's when. And yet, he does have a point. Because for the past few years, thanks to Disney, Marvel, and the terrible content from DC, and everything else that's going on here and there in between, now we have to change our approach. We have to ensure that this is something that we know we can have and we can move towards in terms of something of what we want to watch. So for this video, I decided that I want to talk about the content that you should be anticipating for the year of 2025. It's not a big list, but it's a short one. And what better way to start with James Gunn's Superman? Let's face it, you've watched the trailer. At the time of this recording, over 50 million views for James Gunn's Superman. The last time we had Superman, aside from the animated series that's been coming out, the little shows here and there, The Adventures on Amazon Prime, or another version of Superman that I can't remember off the top of my head, the last time we had an actual Superman movie, Man of Steel of 2016. 2016 or 2014? No, 2013. Because it came right after The Dark Knight. 2013. Over a decade without the Man of Steel. And even though Batman is Warner Brothers' cash cow, it's Superman that, in a way, a lot of people relate to the most. He's humanistic. And that's what makes James Gunn's Superman much more appealing. It's the fact that he seems more human. Aside from the bright colors and the actual characters that James Gunn knows very well on how to counteract and balance and everybody else, but it's Superman. The Man of Steel, the first superhero from 1939? Before then? Way before then, I would say. Superman, James Gunn Superman coming in July 11th, 4 days before my birthday, by the way. That's the movie, the number one movie that a lot of people are anticipating. And if you don't believe me, over 50 million views. I mean, that's pretty much how it's supposed to be. Second one off the top of my head, I would have to say Thunderbolts. Now, what is it about groups? What is it about a group of misfits that finds so compelling to you? And I think I know what it is. You enjoy conflict. How can something in terms of a group of people or a story or situation where they're at conflict, they're at odds with each other. The conflict that comes together, that hurt by the way, the conflict that comes together in terms of characters and what it means when they have a group of outcasts, a group of misfits, people that a lot of us don't really care about, yet they're at conflict with one another. That's the thing that's the selling point. If you don't believe me, why do you love reality TV? Why do you love... Let me rewind a little bit. Conflict is a strong word. You love drama. Drama is what really is the selling point. Why do you love reality TV? Why do you intend to watch movies that belongs to the drama genre? Why is it that when something goes on right outside your house and you're behind the curtain and you're listening in on your ear and you are as nosy as you can be, but you don't want to admit it, you know full well that you want to hear everything what goes on outside. You want drama. And I believe Thunderbolts can actually bring that to you. That and the simple fact that it's Florence Pugh. Yelena. A dime piece. Very gorgeous, very beautiful, very talented, very awesome as a character. She's the selling point. If that doesn't convince you, I don't know what does. At number 3, we have the Fantastic Four, the first steps that you're anticipating. Guys, I have to be honest with you. In order for me to be honest with you, I have to be honest with myself for the simple fact that I'm not really a gigantic Fantastic Four fan. This is the fifth time that the Fantastic Four is being brought on the big screen. Fourth, if you're not counting the one from all the way back in the 60s or 50s. 60s? Around that time period. Way before my time. Overall, this is the fifth time that it's coming out. Now, the first Marvel family, it should warrant something coming through, and it should intrigue you enough to go and watch it. But the thing is, even with the casting choices, even with the introduction of the big bad Galactus, even with all of the elements that's supposed to come together that makes you want to see it, there's only one element that I know that you're going to find very, very intriguing. Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. I get it. I hear what you're saying. Disney is lazy. Disney is... They don't know how to tell a cohesive story, or the fact that they had a great story in Robert Downey Jr.'s ending for Iron Man. So the fact that bringing him back as Doctor Doom may seem lazy, may seem out of left field. I say it's perfect. I say it's absolutely perfect for the simple fact that it's an emotional tag. It leaves and it drives an emotional impact for you that have been following this character and this actor for over 10 years, since 2008 Iron Man, all the way till now. And for him to come back as a variant, in another timeline, in another set piece, as a villain. In the comics of Secret Wars, Doctor Doom has always been a popular character, or at least a necessary character. And if you can't take my word for it, if you can't take the words of everybody else, just remember, would you rather have that? Or would you rather have what Disney Marvel has been going through for quite some time? Post-Endgame. Granted, yes, we did get Deadpool and Wolverine, which is I would say, the apology tour of Disney Marvel, but I would say this is the right track. Not to mention with a lot of the rumors and other return cast, Scarlett Jo, Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, let's call it the original 6. Everyone is going to be making their comeback. And when it comes to storytelling, I believe that is what you're looking forward to the most. Finally, this is, I would say, my opinion, and it could be yours as well. Daredevil Born Again. I mean, what else can I say about this? True, the production will not be the same as Marvel Netflix, but let's be honest here. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call a zebra here. Nothing is ever going to be the same as the production value of what Marvel Netflix has given us. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Punisher, Iron Fist, Defenders, minus Iron Fist here and there, but you get my point. The production value of that was groundbreaking. And Daredevil ended on a high note. Granted, it was before the acquisition of Marvel Netflix into Disney Marvel, but the fact remains is Kevin Feige realized what they had last year, or was it the time before? Sometime last year. He saw that what they had at the time was not good enough. They said we need to scrap it all, or at least scrap a majority of it, and we need to give the people, what they want. So Daredevil Born Again, having multiple episodes, knowing full well that they are trying every single piece of being in their repertoire to go and do what they do. And I believe it won't disappoint. Daredevil Born Again, coming out in March. I think you're looking forward to that too. Now, I could end this by saying that's all we have for today, but for the least stuff, at least the least things that you're looking forward to the most, and you'll probably watch it out of curiosity. Off the top of my head, Ironheart, the last show of the MCU. There's really nothing to say about Riri Williams. And of course, in December, there's Wonder Man. I know nothing about the character, and I don't think you know of that either. This is most likely going to be a skippable moment. But in everything that I've said, let me ask you, what are you really looking forward to? Your top 3? Did I mention it already? Let me know, and I'll see you next time.